Christina, thank you very much for being willing to share this information.
Thank you.
You and Tiffany had a great opportunity to go and see Professor Tony Attwood, have I got the right name?
Yes.
Who's a bit of a renowned expert in managing ASD or autism spectrum disorder.
Yeah.
And a rising need in schools, as you know.
Absolutely.
So I know you just love to share with us what you learnt and things that you're already putting into place. So tell us about it.
Yeah, so I guess the one thing that inspired me the most about attending this PD is just gaining a deeper understanding of how people with ASD, how they function, how they think, and how challenging everyday things that we do are actually for them. So following instructions, how challenging that can actually be for them as well. And it just gave me an opportunity to put myself in their shoes.
Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know at times, obviously, when we're teaching, it's really hard. We've got 24 other students sitting there, and that one student might need our time. And it's really hard, but I feel attending this PD has actually made me really stop and go, okay, give this child the time that they need, break it down, don't ask too much, and that helps me a lot more now.
Great simple advice straight off. Yeah,
absolutely, because you get frustrated, and that doesn't help the situation in any way, shape or form, for you, for them, and for the other students in the class. So one thing that really surprised me was actually the attendance at this PD. So it was held at the performing or the Lighthouse Theatre.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was packed, full house. There was about 300 people there. And the great thing to see was it wasn't just teachers, it wasn't just teaching aides, there was also parents. There was actually some parents from our school there as well.
Fantastic.
Which was really
just shows the need, is it? People really hanging out for some way to support these kids.
Absolutely. So I've just got a few tips here I thought I would share with everyone, the main things that stood out to me with the PD.
Excellent.
So forgive me for reading my notes.
No, that's fine.
But students with ASD don't have to look at you all the time. Okay, so when you're speaking to them, you don't have to say, no, look at me, so I know you're understanding. No need for that. They find looking and listening at the same time far too hard.
Okay.
So that's one little tip. Give them time. Processing information is extremely hard. Give them time. An example of this is I played an impromptu game in my class the other day. We went around the outside of the circle with a letter from the alphabet. I went to a party and I bought an apple. I went to a party and I bought a balloon. And it got to this one particular student. He was on M, and that wasn't even enough processing time for him to have. And then when I said, that's okay, we'll skip you and come back, that was even worse. We needed to stop. I needed to reiterate what had happened prior and tell him that you are working on the letter M. Can you think of something that starts with M? Give him the time and then move on, or else it could have been disastrous.
And he had success?
Yeah, there was success
Beautiful.
In the end, but he just had to stop. And because he was trying to take in all the other information with the other letters, it was just so tricky for him. Whereas the other students, it was no worries. So you can actually see the difference it is. If they feel pressured, they will answer with just the stock standard questions. It might include like, I don't know, yes, maybe, okay. You know, actually give them time.
So they've learnt that. That's a way to respond.
That's their coping mechanism. And then there's no failure with that, really. Okay, just give that answer that they need, and then they won't ask anything.
Then you'll leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly right. Making sure that your classroom is organised and not moving things around too much.
They're lucky they've got you, Christina, as a teacher, and not me.
They need Christy Smith.
Yeah.
And just making sure that you're not changing the classroom up too much. So have a plan for the whole term of if you're having seating arrangements, or where the tables are positioned, or where the glue sticks are kept, you know, minor things like that. Have a plan.
Routine and set procedures.
Routine, exactly right. So that's just one of the things I find really, really tricky. I'm just going to get my notes. Limit their choices. So Tony Attwood said to us, stop talking, particularly females, stop talking at them and stop giving them so many choices. Just limit the directions and the choices, and you're going to get a lot more out of them, because the processing time takes a long time. It's delayed. By giving them so much information, that's when the meltdown's going to happen.
That's how I was with Sam yesterday.
Yeah.
Too much. Why are you feeling like this?
And because they're not answering
why won't you come with me? You need to come with me now. What are you meant to be doing?
And because they're not answering you, Michelle, you feel the need to avoid the silence, and you give another question or another choice,
and that's to throw
another
them again.
alternative, and then that's when
simple directions.
Yeah.
You need to come here.
Yeah. And he will.
And he will.
He will. So limit choices. Be clear and concise. Okay. Because it distracts their thinking too much. Don't put, like I just said, don't give too much information. Make sure your room is really visual, and I think that's something we do really, really well here at WEPS, making sure that the daily planner is visual. If there is a change ahead, if you've got an excursion or an incursion, someone coming for a performance, put the change sticker on top. That's what I do every morning if there's something that's changing, just so they know that, okay, when we were having maths, we're not actually having that today. And talk to them about it and let them understand why, because they will get it in their head. No, it's Thursday, and on Thursday afternoons we have maths. I don't understand why. And then that can set them off completely. Something so small, once again, an everyday thing that we can just adapt to. They can't adapt to it, and that can ruin their whole day, and that can ruin your whole day as well as the teacher.
So visually changing it, also pre-warning them of the change.
Yes, yeah.
This will be different today.
Exactly.
Really important. Okay.
Exactly. So people with ASD need positive feedback just to show that they're on the right track as well.
Okay.
They strive to be perfect. So you'll find that they are not wanting to take risks with their learning because of the fear of mistakes. And it actually is a phobia that they have. There's the fear of mistake making. So it's just really important.
They do get distressed and throw work in the bin and things like that, don't they?
Over one tiny mistake. Maybe the letter was sitting on the wrong line. They strive for perfection. So it's just really important that you do give them that positive feedback. It doesn't have to be over the top, and it can just be short, concise, and then move on. So yeah, just make sure we're doing that. And I think one of the main things that I took away from this is 5 things you should never say to an ASD student.
Okay.
No. Don't say it. Wait. Change. Hurry up. Not fair. 5 things.
Okay.
And Tony Attwood, he's absolutely incredible, but not only is he highly trained and a professor, a doctor, everything he is, he's actually got a son with autism, and he's got a sister-in-law with autism as well.
Okay. So
yeah, he
he's
said
coming from credibility.
This has come from them. Don't say these things to us. So
Okay.
maybe that's something that we can think about as well. Because it's very easy to say no.
Christina, when you went to that day, and I know you were blown away by it, you shared something with me about children and outside, the yard time for them.
Oh, yes. So it's really important that we have a little haven for these students. I remember last year, one particular student who was in year 2, you would often find her wandering around the corridors during recess time, and she was just craving quiet time, her own time. And we'd say, what are you doing? Quick, you need to be outside. It's just not fair. And it's not until you go to something like this that you really realise that they're crying out for help. So,
and outside must be just daunting, all that noise and everything's different and people are changing rules.
And that's right. And people are changing. They're not staying in the one position. Games are changing. It's not the same games every day. It's really hard for them. And the noises and... sorry.
That's
I've
right.
got a really bad cough. So, yeah, I feel like we do have positive play, which can support the students as well.
Which is great.
Yeah, which is a really good step. Maybe we could think of something else, you know. They also said that the library is like the best possible place for a child with ASD.
Well, there you go. There's something that's for us to
Quiet
consider.
time in the library.
Yep.
They can tuck away into a book, or they can just sit there quietly. Yeah, it's their own little space where they can collect their thoughts and they can think, and they don't have to answer to the other kids outside. They don't have to answer to the teachers on Now Duty. It's just their little safe haven.
That's a great thing to think. So anything else do you think that we could look at implementing or changing at East?
I think just being more self-aware as a teacher, maybe those 5 things not to say, and just really understanding, you know, from an ASD student's perspective, how challenging everyday things can be. And just don't overload them and take the time.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah, it is taking and understanding them and appreciating them and not getting cross with them for who they are. We just received today in the mail a book. I think it's a picture story book about children with autism. It's part of a program that Kerry subscribed to, but apparently we were to get some resources to go with it. But Kerry's looking into them. We haven't received them, but that'll be something we can share with everybody else as well. But
I think let's end on a real positive note. What we're doing well. The nurturing room, when Tony was speaking about how to set up a room for children with ASD, the nurturing room is just perfect.
Almost is.
There's no patterns, there's natural lighting, it's peaceful, it's calm, it's tranquil, there's headphones for the kids to put on, there's nooks. They said that's really important, especially in open learning spaces. That can be really tricky, so providing little nooks for them, like their little getaway, that's a step in the right direction for them.
So that's something that
we do.
Classroom teachers can look at, even strengthening further. You know, that tranquility is really important, and the colours and things in your room. Christina, thank you very much, and I'm sure Tiff would have added things to it too. But thank you, and
apologies for my cough. I just ate a muesli bar and it's stuck in my throat.
You will have to have some lunch at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, sorry.
Thanks, Christina. Thank you.